Alright, hope everyone's doing wonderful today. Today what I got in store is be going over another keyword and ability from the card game Magic the Gathering, and that today is going to be Hexproof. I'd just like to make this information for new players or anyone out there that has any questions, just to kind of go over, discuss, and give some examples of what Hexproof is for the card game Magic the Gathering. So I have a couple cards here that all have Hexproof on them. First off the bat, I just want to say Hexproof is different from Shroud. Shroud is a completely different ability, so don't confuse this with Hexproof. So today we're just going to be focusing on Hexproof, and let's just read what that means. I'm going to probably be using this for my example card. It's just Witch Stalker, 1 and 2 green, creepy looking wolf guy. Very cool. It's a 3/3 creature with Hexproof. This creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponent controls. So it's all in the text right there. Hexproof means it can't be targeted by spells or abilities your opponent controls. So let's just go over some ideas and examples of what that is. Say I have Witch Stalker on the battlefield, and my opponent wants to get rid of it, and say they have a card like Murder in their hand. Right in the text of here it says destroy target creature, and since Hexproof says cannot be target, and since Murder has the word target in it, so it is targeting this creature, Murder cannot target this card, so Murder will not work on Witch Stalker. So any card that says target creature or target something, if it has the words target in it, and if they're trying to play it against a Hexproof card, it won't work. It cannot be the target of a card. So Murder will not work on Witch Stalker since it's trying to target this card and it cannot be targeted. So another example of that right here, let's just go through some of these. This one says target creature gets -2/-2 till end of turn. Obviously it says target on there. You cannot target this creature since it has Hexproof. This creature cannot be the target or spells or abilities your opponent controls. Again, cannot be targeted. Let's just go down the line. It says Volcanic Hammer deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Cannot target the Witch Stalker. Let's check out this one. Alchemist's Greeting deals 4 damage to target creature. Obviously cannot because it's targeting it. Got a classic card like this. Got Rod of Ruin. Deals 1 damage to target creature player. Since it's saying target, again, cannot be used against it. Got a classic Shock right here. 2 damage to target creature player. Cannot be targeted. So pretty much any card that has an ability or something that says target creature and that creature has Hexproof, it cannot be the target of it. Another example is like Heromancer's Cage. Enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent. Since it says target, you cannot be targeted, so even this won't work against it as well. And last example, just have like Tragic Slip, target creature. Since it says target creature, it cannot be targeted against it. In the text of this, it says this creature cannot be targeted or spells or abilities your opponent controls. So if it's my own creature, and I decide I want to target it with something, and I want to put a giant growth in it, I can target my own creature as long as it's my own spell. So if I wanted to, I could put like a giant growth on it, or I can put like a holy strength on it. Since I'm targeting my own creature, and in the text of it says spells and abilities your opponent controls. So just keep that in mind. It's only any spells that your opponent or enemies control, but you can target it yourself. Very cool. So let's just go over some other things. Let's talk about cards that don't target it. So for example, I got a pile of examples for that, like this one right here, Planar Cleansing. It says destroy all non-land permanents. Nowhere in the text does it say target. So even though Witch Stalker has Hexproof, a card like Planar Cleansing, since it is not targeting it, it is just a complete it's just the whole game. It's not targeting the specific card, so it will still kill Witch Stalker. Another card like that is Fated Retribution. Destroy all creatures and planeswalkers. It's if it's your turn, scry 2. Since it is not targeting Witch Stalker, it would still destroy it. Another one like End Hostilities. Destroy all creatures and all permanents attached to creatures. Again, since it is not targeting it, like a Murder or something like that. Let me just grab the Murder. Since none of these cards are targeting, like this says destroy target creature, this says destroy all creatures. Instead of target, it says all. So you're safe, and if you play this against a creature with Hexproof, it will still kill it. Another one here, destroy all non-land creatures, since it's not saying target. All creatures get -2/-2 till end of turn. Since it's not targeting it, obviously it would still affect this creature right here. Destroy all creatures that convert a mana cost 3 or less. This isn't targeting anything, so it would be alright. And another card is like one like this. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact creature, a non-artifact creature. Since it isn't specifically targeting this creature, if this is the only creature that your opponent has on the battlefield and you play this, they have to sacrifice it. Since it's not specifically targeting it and they still have to sacrifice something, they still can sacrifice it. So even cards that, like, say your opponent sacrifices a creature, even if they only have one creature on the battlefield and that creature is hexproof, they still have to sacrifice that creature, since this isn't specifically targeting that creature. So just keep that in mind. There is some examples of that. So pretty much any card that says target, that has the word target in it, cannot target these cards. So none of these will work. None of these cards will work. But all cards that don't have target in it, like a destroy all creatures get destroy all non-land, like cards that pretty much have the word all, or opponent sacrifices a creature or non-artifact creature, something that isn't specifically targeting it, will still work against it. I will say that if you play this card and your opponent wants to counter that card, they can still counter it. Hexproof only works when it's on the battlefield. So you can still counter cards with Hexproof. So if it's my turn and I tap 3 mana, 2 and 2 green, and I play it, and my opponent says, nope, I'm going to counter that spell, they can still counter the spell. So keep in mind, you can still counter spells that have Hexproof. You still can. Another thing is, let's say combat. I have the Witchstalker on the battlefield, and my opponent has Poison Tip Archer. It has Reach and Death Touch. Death Touch is any amount of damage this creature is dealt to a creature is enough to destroy it. So any damage dealt to a creature by this will destroy it. So let's say I attack and then want to block with the Poison Tip Archer. Since it does have Death Touch, I still die from it. Hexproof does not save you from Death Touch. So keep that in mind. Death Touch is not targeting a creature, even though it is an ability. It is not targeting this creature. So Death Touch will still kill the Witchstalker. So keep that in mind. Death Touch will still kill the Witchstalker. What else? Oh yeah, I want to talk about, lastly, kind of hexproof for you. Like this card right here, Imperial Mask. Interesting, love the future sight cards. When Imperial Mask comes into play, if it's not a token, each of your teammates puts a token into play. That's a copy of Imperial Mask. It's not really that text, it's this one right here. You can't be the target or spells or abilities your opponent controls. So pretty much you have hexproof. That's what this card does. It gives you hexproof. And what does giving yourself hexproof do? It means you cannot be the target of anything. So for example, you cannot be targeted by, where is it? You cannot be targeted by a shock, since it says target creature or player. Since you have hexproof, you are a player, you cannot be targeted by shocks. You couldn't be targeted by this card right here. Let's see what else. And like cards like Duress, it says target opponent. Since it's targeting somebody and you have hexproof, cards like Duress, any cards that make someone like target your hand or something like that, it won't work. So cards like Duress do not work against cards like Imperial Mask. I hope this makes sense. Hexproof has a lot of interaction in this game, so I'm trying to get through a bunch of them that I hope make a lot of sense. Let's just go over one more time. So Hexproof is, this creature can't be targeted with spells or abilities your opponent control. So pretty much any cards that target this creature don't work. But if there's like a card that says like all creatures or every creature or each opponent, those cards still target, or they still are effective against it, since they are not specifically targeting this card. Creatures with Death Touch, Death Touch is not immune to hexproof creatures. So if you're still blocking or attacking and it is blocked, or you're blocking a creature with Death Touch, it would still perish from it. Death Touch and Hexproof, Hexproof does not make Death Touch like kind of void out. So keep that in mind as well. And if you have Hexproof yourself, you cannot be the target of cards like Duress or like Shock or anything like that. Anything that would target you, the player, like you or your hand, or like damage to you, it would be hexproof from that as well. I kind of hope this makes sense. It's kind of a lot of information out there. Hexproof is an interesting ability in the card game, trying to give a lot of protection to your creatures or yourself, and yeah, it just makes the game a lot of fun. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's if you have any questions or anything like that, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to help you understand it. And I hope this information is helpful for you out there looking for this kind of information. And I just want to say thanks for stopping by. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. And I'll catch you all in the next one.